Cut it.
If you have been following us for a few years, you will know that me and Bri used to talk constantly about a little cafe that we used to run away to every morning and have cappuccino.
Just down the road from our house.
Yeah, just down the road.
Yep.
And that cafe was run by a French guy. It was run by a couple of French guys, actually. But and they were called Pascal and Francois.
You always had a bit of trouble with that name. You always get them mixed up a little bit, don't you?
I don't actually know. I was absolutely 100% right with what I just said.
Okay.
So anyway, these people were called Pascal and Francois.
Yep.
And we
started the cafe.
Yeah, they started that cafe. They brought their French flair to this little seaside village of Orkra, just down the road from where we lived. And we just couldn't believe our luck because all of a sudden we could go down.
Could get a croissant, couldn't you, in the morning?
Could.
Tasty croissant, not from the supermarket type croissant. Yeah.
And
proper
not only
French
that,
one.
it was served with a French accent.
Yes.
And we'd walk in and they'd be like,
Sacre
bonjour
bleu.
Liz, bonjour Brian.
Yep.
It was just fantastic.
It was.
And we were down there all the time.
Being in Europe. Yeah.
Anyway, this guy that ran the cafe and his friend Pascal, they went back to France. We got to know them really well. It's always the way with us.
It is.
As soon as you find something good and you think, oh, this is bliss,
Yep.
we're moving back to France now.
I know. Yeah. And just when we got to know Pascal as well, because we knew Francois a little bit more, because he was he was front of house where Pascal was always cooking the food behind. So you never really got to talk to him that much, did you? But I just remember he was like a horse whisperer. And it just like all these things that you found out afterwards, like, you know, he was from Corsica and stuff like that. It was just like,
they were the best people.
Yeah.
And like I say, they brought this French flair to the village. Anyway, he moved back to France, and because he adores New Zealand so much, he's been here for he was there for 16, 17, maybe longer.
He came a year before us, didn't he, in 2008.
He's been here a long time, and he keeps coming back every summer. He's a big surfer. And
comes back to recharge his batteries.
He does.
And just breathe that New Zealand air in and do some surfing there and stuff and everything, doesn't he? Yeah.
Anyway, we were down the cafe the other day and we met him. We saw him in the street. Well, oh, you're back. And he's like, yeah, I'm back on holiday. You know, I've come back for surfing. And by chance, timing had it that he was able to come to the house and record a podcast with me all about his journey, why he moved to New Zealand, you know, how he had his kids and
why he wanted to go back to France and what he's doing right now.
And what he's doing. And what he's doing is this really exciting business that you'll find out all about, which involves Kiwis and France. It's such a fantastic idea. So right now you're going to hear a conversation between two old friends. I want you to remember what we've just told you and how we met them. Oh, it was just a joy. He's going to tell you all about his story and where he is now. And you're going to get to know what a lovely, lovely guy Francois is.
Yep. So let's jump on in and hear Francois' story.
Yes.
Cut it.
Welcome to the NZ Ahead podcast. Everything you need to know about moving to and living in New Zealand.
There's a whole world here.
So nice to be with you again.
We call it Aotearoa around here, bro.
You'll be right.
We are your hosts, Liz and Brian.
Amazing New Zealand in the southern seas.
See, that's where I belong. That's home.
Hello, Francois.
Hey, Liz.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me around.
Bonjour.
It's a
I'm
pleasure.
so excited to have you here and find out all about your journey. Moving to New Zealand from France, moving back to France, coming back to New Zealand, all of it. I want to know all of it. So thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me once again. And there's a lot to cover there.
There is.
It's a pleasure to be back. Just back now for a quick holiday and to recharge my batteries and come back to my feel-good place. And it's been a 17 years love story with New Zealand. And just pretty much happened by accident, and with how a lot of things happen in life.
Yep.
And it
just falls into place sometimes, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
For those of you who don't know, Brian and I met Francois when he started, you know, the cafe that we always talk about. We go to the cafe. It was Francois's cafe. He made this beautiful cafe, this French divine little haven that Brian and I would go to and work from. And he was always such a friendly, warm, welcoming face. And that's how we got to know each other, wasn't it? Down in your cafe.
That's right.
That you built. So let's just rewind back to when you first moved to New Zealand.
Wow.
From France.
Yes.
Why did you come? Who were your family? Why did you move to New Zealand? Let's start there.
All right, start there. So it happened with my wife, Emily, who wasn't my wife at that time. I was lucky enough to do a lot of traveling around the world for surfing especially, and she never really got the chance to travel. And when we met and talked about travels right away, there was a really contact point between the two of us. And she mentioned she would love to travel but never had the chance to. And I said, well, we're young, we can do it, so let's leave everything behind and sell all our goods and quit our jobs and go and visit and see what's out there. And the idea was to kind of start with New Zealand because we could get a 1-year working holiday visa at that time. And then if it wasn't the place, carry on Australia, Southeast Asia. We had a friend who was trying to set up a surf lodge in Panama. I thought, oh, maybe we'll go there. And if things don't go well together, maybe 4 or 5 years down the track, we start again in France and back from scratch. And never even occurred. You know, after a few weeks here, we're just like, wow, what is that place? You know, it's just like amazing on all regards. Like when you come to New Zealand, it's, I mean, just the sceneries, friendliness, you know, people just like so open, make you feel right at home right from the start. We loved it.
So how old were you what year was that when you came?
That was 2008.
2008.
September 2008.
So how many years ago is that?
It's 17 years ago now.
17 years.
Yeah, just over.
Right, okay. So I've just got a few questions before we move on.
Absolutely,
So you were just boyfriend and girlfriend when you were in France?
That's right.
What was your job in France?
I used to work in sales and marketing.
Right.
And I was working for a surf company, a French surf company there, and kind of like touring around just to show the clothes collections and sell surfing products.
Are you a big surfer?
I'm a surfer, but I didn't necessarily enjoy that part of the job, you know, of like going to see shops and kind of like try to force sell because everything is about like meeting numbers and selling, and not really taking the time to have like proper relationships with people. Yeah. Even though if that was part of the selling points that I was really interested in. And then was working as well during summer before that for my studies as a lifeguard on the beach.
As a lifeguard, oh nice.
So can't complain, yeah.
So is this in Biarritz in France?
Yeah, a little bit north of Biarritz, in Hossegor.
Okay. I'm not even going to attempt to say the names because I'm so embarrassed that I'm going to pronounce it so badly. So you're living in France, you're young, you're in your 20s.
Yeah, that's right.
You haven't got any children, you're not married, and you think, let's go on this adventure. Is New Zealand the first place you come to?
Yeah.
And you never left?
And we never left.
Okay.
And it's funny because like I didn't really necessarily knew much about New Zealand. As a kid, I always dreamt about Australia and like, you know, big spaces and just like wildlife, animals, big desert and ocean all around it. I thought, oh, one day I'll go to Australia. We thought in the conversation of like organizing the trip, oh, well, we can start with New Zealand, you know, it's easy. And then it's as far as we can go. Let's start over there. And wow, realized the beauty of the place and how much it was connecting with us already right from the start. Yeah. And we were touring in the camper van and doing some woofing. So, you know, it's working in like organic farms and helping out. And in exchange, you get food and accommodation. Right. And so we did that all around the North Island, enjoyed it and realized, oh, at some point we'll need a proper job because we're still going through our budget. And my wife is a graphic designer. So she could eventually find a job around here, but she's also an equestrian. An equestrian? Yeah, okay. So she's into horses and especially coaching. And found a place just down the road here from where you live in a family who had a woofing farm. Was it Petra? Yes, Petra and Rodney. Yes, that's right. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. Yeah, just the neighbours. She's the woman that got me into homeschooling. Oh, wow.
Because she was homeschooling her 2 kids, wasn't she? Oh,
Yeah.
she's such a hippie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so open-minded and like, that makes sense. When you said you lived down the road,
Yeah.
I was thinking, where was it? And then, so Petra is German, and she is the woman that, like I say, she inspired me to homeschool. She had all this ideas, so, fantastic.
Yeah, and so that was the thing, and because they had horses as well at home, so we stayed there for about a month. It was in November, so 2008 when we arrived, and we enjoyed it there, but for a whole month we couldn't see the mountain. It's just at the back, because it was just like raining, grey, windy and terrible weather. And after a month we thought, it's not the reason why we came to New Zealand.
No.
We just want to see as well like all the beauty and some nice weather. It's the start of summer. So Emily found a job as a horse coach in Gisborne.
Oh, in Gisborne.
Yeah, on
That's
the East
where my
Coast.
sister is, yeah.
And I thought, I can find like some kind of like fruit picking job over there. So we moved to the other side of the island and had a wonderful summer over there. Stayed there for about 4 months, and of course had the crazy idea to buy a horse.
Oh, okay.
Because Emily came back to me one evening and saying, I found that horse. I could train it and go to different shows around the country, and then we could just sell it for good money, and that can kind of finance the rest of our trip. And I thought, yeah, sounds pretty good to me. If you believe in it, let's do it. But eventually, at some point, we thought, our time in Gisborne is over. But what are we doing now, living in a camper van with the horses? We can't really travel around with it.
Sounds like bliss to me, that.
Yeah, totally one, just like living in the moment, not really thinking about consequences. And got back in touch with Petra and Rodney, and they said, just come back over here and leave the horse while you're trying to figure out what's the next stage for you. And so we came back here, and it was the prime time of the year for surfing, March, April. And I discovered the surfing potential around here. Actually helped a local guy who was cleaning windows, who was a good friend of Petra and Rodney. You probably know Jonathan.
Oh yeah, Jonathan, yeah.
And who needed a hand to hold a ladder while he was cleaning up high windows. I said, I can hold a ladder for a day, I can help. And chatting with him throughout that day, mentioned that a friend of his, Ross Bennett, was a graphic designer and was randomly looking for graphic designers every now and then when he was under pressure. And I introduced Emily, and so a few days later she managed to get a job with him and get a sponsor for a work visa.
Yeah.
That extended then into sponsorship for residency a few years later. So it feels like everything kind of like happened by opportunities and just by accident, coming our way. We thought, as long as we don't have to push things to make it happen, let's embrace it, let's take it.
Yes.
And it's pretty much like the whole story about New Zealand, like things coming our way, just it feels like natural. And we decided to stay here, and everything then is kind of like not history, but pretty much.
No, hang on, mister, you don't get away that easily.
No, there's a lot more.
Yeah, there is a lot more, yeah. So, and it's so weird, isn't it, that it's all about connections.
Absolutely.
And who you talk to, and they know them, and he's looking for that, and I find that's just how New Zealand works. It really
exactly
is.
Right.
It's the core of how to get ahead, isn't it? It's all about who knows who and helping each other. And
exactly right. It's all there's no judgment or anything. You say, you can help me, I can help you, or let's try and do something together.
Yeah.
And it was actually the same thing. I started working at the Petit Paris, the French cafe in New Plymouth.
Yes.
And as a waiter there, and the boss said, do you want to learn how to make coffee? I said, yeah, great. So another skill I can get. And so became a barista. And then eventually he was looking for a pastry chef on the days the regular pastry chefs need to take days off. I said, I love cooking. I'd love to try and learn. And he said, let's give it a go. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, we've tried. And it worked. So I really enjoyed it, and was doing good enough. So kind of like learned that, and eventually thought, I'm loving all the part associated to that cafe life. I thought, I'm not that dumb, and I can do it myself as well, and bring me more meaning. And which is what led me to High Tide further down the track.
And that's meeting you, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay, there's loads I just want to unpick. Let me just unravel it a little bit. So, first of all, was your English as good as it is now?
I still don't consider it being that good.
Your English is excellent, by the way. I know you
Thanks.
don't like compliments. You told me before. Don't give me
Yeah.
any compliments, Liz. I'm uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
But your English is excellent.
Well, thank
Was it
you.
always that good?
No.
So
no.
you've learnt that in New Zealand.
It was
living here.
very, very basic, and that's why I thought, I could probably find a job in marketing, but I thought I wasn't confident enough to kind of like justify my skills and being able to work here with such poor English.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's all right, and I might use this time to learn something different and working in cafes, and that's also how I pretty much did the whole process in my head of thinking, well, I've got a lot of people coming and being very curious about my story and asking me questions. And I found out I was kind of like pretty much always telling the same story. And I was feeling more confident telling it and more confident in my English. And then I would pick up some, slang, vocabulary, everything that would try to enrich that conversation every time.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it became better and better. And because I love the interaction with people, I never got bored about doing this.
Yeah.
Telling the same story
You've always
again.
loved talking to people, haven't you? I can
Yes.
see that. So you come over to France, and this is what I love about you, is you are willing to just turn your hand to anything.
Yeah.
You didn't come over and just think, oh, well, I'm not fruit picking, or I'm not going to go over there and hold a ladder for someone. No, that's far beneath me, And then you turned your hand to barista and the pastry chef, and then it led to this opportunity of buying a cafe. With your friend Pascal. I also want to give him a big shout out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So how did you and Pascal meet? Because that's when I came to you. Me and Brian discovered you. Two French guys running this cafe in rural New Zealand. It was honestly like so bliss, because you did these delicious pastries, fantastic coffee. It had a real French/Kiwi feel to it. Your accent, it just felt like a little bit of Europe, but Kiwi as well. So how did you and Pascal meet?
Sam, it's a big story, just like full of things that happened by chance. It was in the first or second year we were in New Zealand, so we were living in New Plymouth at the time, and he was traveling with his wife Valerie through Australia, and had a big issue with their van that just died, and they were kind of like stuck over there, not knowing what they would like to do. And through professional contact and through LinkedIn, he was in touch with Emily and knew that, because he was in marketing as well, and he knew that she was around in New Zealand, and said, well, we're just across the ditch and we don't know what to do. And Emily said, just come over and just put your bags down and discover New Zealand, and then you see, have a breather. And so they came and stayed with us for a couple of weeks. And right away, we bonded, it's just like, yeah, absolutely. And we had a good time together. And they stayed for a few more months traveling around New Zealand and had to go back to France. And because he worked as well at Petit Paris for a little while, he was really interested in turning into a pastry chef. He wasn't into that at all. So he fully retrained for about 5 years in France and learned with the best. In a lot of like different high ranked restaurants and caterers. So really came back here with like a lot of knowledge and experience, and always had that attention to detail. And he came back here to work in a shop in New Plymouth called Emalu.
Oh, Emalu's,
Yep.
yeah.
Because Matt, the owner, was French as well, and it was in order to kind of like create macarons and a lot of like nice delicacies. And he worked there for a year. And at that time I had started high tide with a caravan at the beach, and then 2 years later managed to move into where it is today, like on the main road. And I told him, well, he managed to get New Zealand residency, and he wasn't really linked to his job anymore. And he thought, I want to do something different. I said, well, come and work with me. We can just do something really nice, and then we can think about what the future can bring. It can be another project. And we started thinking about a lot of things, when like two physical minds, just come together. There's a lot of ideas. So even like outside of the food industry, and just like, what can we do together? And I remember the Okra School contacting us for their 100 years school gala. And they needed catering, and of course I'm the same in everything I do in life. I never say no. And it was Tash who just approached me and say, we're looking at having like a big fancy dinner for 200 people at the hall, and do you think you could do that? And we had that tiny little kitchen, at high tide.
It's nothing, that kitchen, is it? It's like literally just a workbench.
Oh, pretty much. And I said, yep, we'll do it. We work out the details after that, but yeah, we'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
And came back to Pascal and I said, well, I think I found our next project. It will be catering. And he was just, oh, okay, well, what did you find? I said, oh, well, we're going to have like a big 3-course dinner for 200 people at the hall, and it's really fancy, so we have to put the bar really high up there. And I was just like, are you crazy? We only have that bench space to work out of. And so we'll work something out. And so after hours, we were just like starting preparing some things, preparing the menu and looking for recipes. And at the same time, we were trying to think about a name for the business and thinking, well, there's not many catering companies around here, so maybe we've got something to do in there. And that dinner went very, very well.
Did it?
Yeah. Local people really enjoyed it.
Was it stressful?
It was extremely stressful.
Yeah,
we had so many things happening in the night, like we had things baking in the oven, and with that, realizing it at some point, like the fuse had gone off.
Oh no.
And for like the 2 hours we thought the oven was on, it wasn't.
Oh, no.
And we found that out like 20 minutes before serving, so we just like had to, okay, how...
It's like your worst nightmare, that, isn't it?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Well, especially when it's your first experience.
Yeah.
But because we're like very skilled at working things out, we managed to kind of like, with the organizer, like try and save time and change the schedule, because they had an auction night as well at the same time. So we thought, instead of having the auction at the end, just like fit it in now. And so we can just change a few things around. And I think no one in the room really noticed what happened, and they were really happy with the dinner. On our hand, it was just like the most stress you can get.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, we managed, and we could work it out, and that was the start of it, and started like advertising it and having like little jobs coming. So for a year, we did the two businesses side by side, to the point of where Pascal went a little bit more in the kitchen, where I was still at the cafe. And I realized, well, now is the time to try and focus on this, because it can provide us a really good lifestyle, doing something that we like doing on demand, so we know numbers beforehand. If the surf is good and we rather go surfing, we can just say no to a function, or just work our production around that. And decided to put the cafe for sale, and Ming was happy enough to buy it, and I could focus on the catering.
Yeah. Oh,
so now you know a lot more about the story.
I do. And
probably some details you didn't know about.
No, there isn't. I didn't know it was so stressy for a start.
Yes.
So, and in case you don't know this, your business, your catering business, was famous throughout New Plymouth. You guys were known for like top-notch catering. Yeah, I mean, you made it really, really high class and special. And I know you did someone's wedding that my son was a photographer at, and they were just like, they were raving about the food. So here you are, just living the dream in New Plymouth, in Taranaki. You're surfing, you've got your catering business, you've created this fantastic cafe for Liz and Brian to go
and working with my best mate.
Working with your best mate. Have you had children yet, or...?
Ella was born when I just started the caravan high tide.
Okay.
So it was at the really start of that business story, which added something else on the workload of starting your own business.
Yes.
But made us feel even more at home here.
Was your wife happy? Was she? Sorry, is she your wife, or is she still?
She's your wife? We got married a couple of years. Yeah. Got married. Went back to France for the wedding 2 years after we had landed here in New Zealand.
Okay. And so now you're married. How many children have you got?
Just one.
Just one. Yeah. Okay. And a little girl?
Yeah, little girl.
And so she's a Kiwi, a New Zealand citizen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Have you got your New Zealand citizenship?
Yeah.
You have. It feels good, doesn't it?
It feels like.
I know.
Yeah.
Feels like you've won the lottery when you get your New Zealand citizenship.
Well, yes. True. But it's not the first feeling that I had. The first feeling was just like, well, thank you, New Zealand, for accepting me on board and just kind of like giving me that little piece of paper of a place where I feel I belong. So not that I felt like I deserved it for that, but it was kind of like closing the circle, if you can say. Like I feel like I'm at home here. This is my right place, and the only thing missing to kind of like recognize that was that passport and that citizenship. But I already felt like a citizen for like a few years before. Yeah,
you just felt right at home here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we go on and talk about you leaving New Zealand, there are a few things I just want to ask you that I've always wanted to ask a French person, because I absolutely adore France. To me, France has got it all. It's got the weather, it's got the diversity, the scenery, it's got beautiful food, it's got wine. It's just, it's got Europe on the doorstep. It's, to me, I always wonder why a French person would leave France. Like, I can't think of anything, and you don't need to go into all the details of why you left France, but I always think, how does a French person feel when you come to New Zealand? Like, were there any, you seem to have really embraced New Zealand. And you said to me before, New Zealand is where I'm my happy place, New Zealand is my home. Was there anything about France that you just thought, God, I miss that so much?
Well, first, I would say the answer is like everything you mentioned, you can find it here. You've got great people, you've got great food. Well, even if like traditional food is not the highest standard, but you've got amazing products. So you can recreate everything that's in France, food-wise. The weather, it's exactly the same, just like 6 months apart. You know, same season, same average temperature throughout the year. You've got great spaces around, you've got good wine in New Zealand. Probably, of course, I would say not quite as good as some French wines can be, but you've got this, you know, and I would say like you pretty much have everything plus a great lifestyle, plus, well, especially even more at that time, we were kind of like sick with people, you know, like all those cliches of French people being grumpy.
You are here because you love New Zealand, just like me and Brian. And me and Brian made it our reality of moving over here. We arrived in New Zealand in 2009 with 2 small children, and I tell you what, hardly any information to our name. We came over here with no resources, no contacts, we knew nothing. One night while we were sitting around the fire when we got to New Zealand, we said, wouldn't it be great if we made something for other people in the same situation as us that gave them everything they needed to know about moving to New Zealand? And that's just what we did. We started a community of people, of like-minded adventurers from all over the world who are making their dream of moving to New Zealand a reality. This community is made up of 400 beautiful souls, each one bringing their own story, their own needs, their own information to our community. And I just love it. I tell you, it's just the best community in the whole wide world. If you would like to be part of that community or get to know more about it, then you can take our free 5-day video guide that we offer. This is a video guide that Brian and I created, showing you some aspect of life in New Zealand every single day. There is nothing like this on the internet. You won't find it anywhere else. It's brilliant and it's unique and it's free. So sign up to those 5-day video guides, and on day 5, I'll give you more information about how you can join our beautiful New Zealand community. Sign up now by going to nzahead.com/free. That's www.nzahead.com/free. Get to day 5, see all about our community, and I hope to see you on the other side. Okay, let's get back to the show.
Cliches of French people being grumpy and being arrogant and rude.
Are they?
No, well, but that's what we were kind of like feeling at that time. And coming here, people are just so happy in general and so friendly and outgoing, and they welcome you. So that was probably one thing. It was especially the thing of like Emily wanted to discover the world. And it was just great. Like, I'm not attached to New Zealand. I'm not a really strong family person, but we'll come back to this later when in the reasons of coming back to France. And I always had that feeling that I wasn't fitting in France.
Really?
Yeah, and kind of like, especially in the work industry, because like it's a lot of pressure that is put into you in Europe in general. Like, you have to do your studies and you have to know what you want to do when you grow up. And that was actually some of the big arguments I could have with my dad when I was at high school, and just not being able to answer what I would like to do when I grow up. And then you get into your studies, and always in the back of your mind, I need to get the right studies to get the right job. And as you progress, just have the pressure of like finding a job after that, and you're competing with like 500 other person onto one job that you probably don't necessarily want to do in the first place. And it's just that's why I've always been doing a lot of bits and pieces. Even though I specialized in an industry, always been finding it hard to find my place there.
Find your place, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
find a lot of pressure, a lot of competition, a lot of pressure. Like, I'm highly competitive with myself, but I don't embrace it like on a big level, especially when you're competing with other people who are in the same situation,
Yeah.
Fighting for a job that they don't necessarily want it, but they need it for a living. And it's just like, no, let's go and get out, and eventually we'll come back and we'll see.
So in New Zealand, and I promise I'll come off this subject in a minute, but I'm almost trying to find a little crack, because you are so pro New Zealand, and I'm thinking, okay, so did you feel like you had to become more Kiwi, or did you feel like Kiwis accepted you for being French?
Yeah.
Can you answer that? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, and even though as you say, I love New Zealand so much, I feel right at home. This is my happy place. I'm French at heart. I was born in France. I've got my own character that's been brought up, that way. And I always thought, I can bring something else. And, we just talked about before starting this conversation that New Zealand is a big melting pot of a lot of different cultures.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important when everyone from those different cultures can make it a big thing, a big picture, and bring their own part to it. And that's why I could feel right from the start, people being interested into who I was and what was my story and what could I bring to New Zealand.
Right.
And that's where I found my place. I said, well, I'm never going to be a Kiwi. And actually comes back to, sorry, I just bounced on that, something that a Kiwi told me right when we arrived. He said, like, let's imagine like everyone on this planet see the world through glasses. And like in New Zealand, through education, through the way of living, everyone sees the world through blue glasses. And like you can see the world, everything that's happening with the blue hue to it. And you come from France, and in France, everything's seen through red glasses because of education, the way of living, through medias, everything, you tend to see red. And then you come from France to New Zealand, you will never in your life be able to see through blue glasses because you've got that red hue to it. And on the other hand, at some point you'll never see red again. You'll see a mix of both.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what it is.
God,
so you feel a bit different. So I feel like in my right place here, but I will never be a Kiwi born and bred. And moving back to France now, I'm still French. I also bring my Kiwi culture back, and I'll be different as well. And I want to bring that into the French culture as well, and bring, my knowledge and my experience to that.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
I don't know if that
Francois.
kind of
Yes,
answers
it
what you
does,
had.
It does, yeah, yeah. It really answers it.
We're all citizens of the world, pretty much.
Yeah. I like that about the blue glasses and the red glasses. I like that. I love it when people give you visualizations to think about.
And that's the way I work at.
Yeah, me too,
I need to have like those visualization of things.
Yeah.
And it just went straight to the point.
So here you are living, like I say, you're living from the outside. It looks like it's just a dream. You've got your daughter, you've got your wife, you've got your best friend working. You're
building a house, perfect house, on dream piece of land. Yeah, that's right.
You bought a piece of land and you built a house.
Yeah.
So why did you go back to France? Why did you leave?
Well, we had our parents calling us within a week apart pretty much and telling us, well, now we're getting a bit too old. We're not going to come and see you in New Zealand anymore. It's a long flight, so they're in the early 70s. And even though they could still do it, but saying, well, it's going to be a struggle for us to come and visit you. And we were going to my sister's wedding a few months later. And that's when we realized, wow, in the 15 years we've been in New Zealand, we only went back to France twice. And relying on our parents to come every 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
And we thought, if we go back to the wedding and we go back on average every 7 or 8 years, could be the last time we see our parents. And I thought, wow, it was a big shock, and realizing, wow, is that fair? Or is it, wow, what do we say if it's the last time we see them? And for our daughter as well, not being able to see her grandparents, her cousins as well, that she had never met in France. And we thought at first, let's go to the wedding and feel the temperature. And then we come back to New Zealand and decide if we pack our bags or everything. And we thought, might as well use that opportunity to go.
Right.
We just I think we're a bit of the same with Emily. When we have something in mind and take a decision, we just give it all.
Yeah.
I thought, well, it would be very hard to go halfway and go to France and not knowing, because we always have something putting us back eventually. So we thought, let's let's do what we did like 15 years ago, sell everything we have here and move back to get closer to our parents. And that felt like the right thing to do at the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's great that we were living our dreams here. And I think it's really important to do it. But family and parents is a big part of who you are.
Yes.
Even if you don't live for them, we thought that was the right thing to do. So we thought, oh, let's sell the house, even though we were just in the building stages, and go back to them and embrace that for the time being. And that's funny how it's when things and your mind start going that way as well. And Emily came back one night from work and she said, oh, you know what, like everything's great here, but you know, you go from Bluff to Kaitaia and you'll always have the same food. You know, it'll be pies, fish and chips and random things. And even though, you know, the accent and people are a bit different, it would still be the same way of thinking. You're in France, or in Europe in general, you drive a couple of hours away and it feels like you're in a different country. Like different sceneries, different culture, different dialects as well, different languages, different food specialties. And there's so much in that regard, and culture as well, and history. And we kind of like missed that.
Yeah.
And I remember I was helping at Ming as well at high tide at that time. And there was that local dad who came in with his daughter and they had a coffee. It was a quiet time in the morning. And while he was having his coffee, you know, that screen with like all those different pictures rotating, the little girl was looking at it.
And, the television up
yeah,
on
the television,
thing. Yeah.
And I was making coffees and she was just, oh, Dad, is that real? And she was showing a photo of the Vatican.
Oh. Okay.
And that was, oh yeah, it's a place in Europe, you know, they've got a lot of old buildings. And I was just, true, well, Kiwis growing up in New Zealand, they don't get to see all this, you know, and the culture and history. I thought, oh, it's pretty important, especially for our daughter, you know, she's Kiwi, but she's got a French influence as well. It'd be great for her to discover all this and probably now is a good time to do it. Like if she grows older and we decide to go back when she's a teenager, it would be so hard for her to readjust. So I thought, maybe now is the time to do it.
Yeah.
And New Zealand's not going anywhere.
That's right.
We all have citizenship and this is our place, you know, at heart. So let's go to France for the time being, enjoy that time with our parents and see what tomorrow will bring.
See what happens, And I remember you telling us, I remember being down in the cafe, I'm not going to lie, we were like, oh no, please don't go back to France. Don't take this cafe away from us.
I had so many people mentioning that.
Yeah, it was a big loss, you know, to the community. It was like, oh no. And but I remember chatting to you about it, and I got the feeling that you were torn. I could see that you were torn, and I understand that as a mother, because once you have a child, it's not only about you anymore, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
It's about, like you say, about them reconnecting with their grandparents. And that really struck me when you just said that, about how you thought, if I'm only going back every 7 years, this is probably maybe the last time I'm going to see my mum and dad. And that's absolutely huge. It really is. So I can understand why you went back. But was it because now I want to know. So you go back to France. How was that? After all this time in New Zealand, how was it?
Well, hard to say, you know, how to describe really. It was just kind of like the excitement of something new and going back, and also the sadness of the loss. You know, we organized a big party for our living, and kind of like was an open invite, you know, whoever wanted to come, you know, and talk about it through the community, and just, oh, well, they have their living party if you want to come. And we just kind of like overwhelmed with the amount of people who turned up and who we think like we touched their lives, you know, in some ways.
Yeah.
And
you were well loved.
Yeah, well, thanks. That's the feeling that I received anyway on that night. It was like emotionally really, really big. So living with that was just a big challenge. We were going back to France at the right time of the year as well, you know, start of summer, had my sister's wedding right away. So we thought, okay, well, you know, everything was moving. So we not really have time to think about what we were doing at the time, and thinking that anyway, when we take a decision, it's not that we stick to it and being stubborn about it, but we had probably 10 months living with that idea. So it's not something that came randomly, you know, we knew, okay, we know why we're doing it and the reason. So we kind of like embraced the fact of going back. Then unfortunately my dad passed away 2 months after we got back, completely out of the blue. Thanks. So you know, he wasn't sick of anything. It just kind of like happened all of a sudden. I was feeling unwell, and 10 days later he was gone. So it's just, wow, glad that I had that time with him.
Yes,
Otherwise, I would
yes.
have missed out. And realized, well, now my mum would need me around as well, because it's a big change in her life, of course, as you can expect. So,
Oh, I'm sorry
feel like
to hear
you-
that.
Ah,
I didn't know
thanks,
that. Yeah.
yeah, one more thing, that makes you realize, oh, well, everything, happens for a reason, maybe.
Exactly.
And then trying to find our way, again, and readjust to a new country, really, because we had lived away from so long. One of the good things really that struck us was the way people were, a lot more open-minded, a
In
lot more
France?
welcoming,
Yeah.
and smiling a lot more than when we left it 15 years ago and thought, oh, everyone's grumpy, complaining about everything. It didn't feel the same anymore. We thought, oh, you can go and do your groceries, and now you can chat with the cashier, which never used to happen.
Yeah.
If you had a chat with them, they would say, what are you talking about? Just leave me doing my job. And so that was a big change. I thought, oh, well, maybe we should give that a good go. There's a lot of good vibes about it. There we are.
I always wonder about that because when we go back to the UK now, I also think, oh, everyone's really nice in the UK. I remember they used to be right on moaning sods, and now they're not. They're really nice. But I wonder if it's us that's
Yes.
changed.
I think so.
Isn't it?
That's more what I believe, and it shows how much of an influence you can have as a person,
Yes.
and the way you interact with other people.
Yeah.
Like if you live in an environment like everyone's grumpy, and somehow you kind of like show the same, on your face, you're not happy, you're not welcoming. Well, there's no reason why people will be smiling back at you if you're not.
That's right.
Whereas like living here and the interaction that I could have with people and how good I was feeling, and I was coming with like a big smile on my face. And of course, when you do that, well, people look at you and they smile back
They
at you.
reflect it
And
back,
if
yeah.
you're talking to them in a nice way, and they can feel that, that resonates, and they will just be the same in return.
So you went back to France, no job lined up?
No, nothing lined
Okay.
up. No.
Did Emily have a job?
No, nothing lined up either.
What are you two like? You're
That's
just,
right,
you're
it's
just
just like-
daredevils, aren't you? So you go back to France. Sadly, your dad passes away. Do you buy a house, or where do you live?
Yeah, that was also part of the process of like making that decision, because like the real estate here in New Zealand had gone crazy, like pretty much everywhere around the world with COVID, but like completely out of proportions here. And we realized, like looking at it, like what we could sell our land and house for and what we could afford in France. Like instead of having another 15 to 20 years mortgage here in New Zealand with what we had, could be mortgage free in France.
Oh, really?
With something quite similar. And we
Yeah.
thought, well, especially in southwest of France, which is quite like expensive area as
Yeah.
well. We thought, well, it makes a big difference. So that means if we can buy something fairly quickly, we had no time frame about how we wanted to do that, but that would take a lot of pressure away from like finding a job, So I thought, oh, well, that definitely makes a difference in our everyday life. So let's do it for that reason. So found a place quite quickly, because like when we make things happen with Emily, that just snowballs very, very
Is she
quickly.
the driver?
I think both. We're a perfect team.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
probably faster to then go with the decision.
Right.
We're more in kind of like analyzing the situation and trying to measure the pros and cons. I would be pretty fast at making things happen, but like she's sometimes without too much analysis.
Yeah.
She would make one, but because we two of us as a team, I would agree or not agree very quickly. If she says something and I was just like, oh, no, I don't feel like it is a good decision, hold on. Whereas like for the house, for example, we came up with that great offer from someone like randomly, and she was just, oh no, we should do it. And I just like, actually, yeah, I think we should.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she
You're a good
makes things
team.
happen, but yeah, definitely. Like we support each other and like in any ways, and yeah, we work great together.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So that's great that the pressure of the finances
Yeah.
were off, because that's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when you're starting your life again.
Exactly, yeah. So you settle down and you buy this house. Tell me now when was this? How many years ago was it?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years actually in a couple of months.
Okay, let's go into how the business that you're now doing that
Yeah.
helps Kiwis come to France on holiday, which
That's right.
is so interesting to me, because it's almost like, well, not almost, it is your your way of staying connected to New Zealand.
Absolutely.
So tell me about that. How did you start that business?
Well, it was pretty much from starting saying goodbye to everyone here, because we took the decision like 8 or 10 months before we leaving, so we kind of knew what we were doing. So slowly but surely I was telling people, well, we're leaving New Zealand for this and that reason, explaining, and managed two different jobs I did and how I connected with the local community here, like within Okra, but like in Taranaki in general. Met a lot of people in all different horizons, and everyone was kind of thinking, oh, well, as you say, it would be a big loss, and okay, maybe it is. If it's a big loss, it would definitely be a big loss for me. And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, we've never come to Europe or never come to France, we'd love to visit one day. And I say, well, now that would be your chance, actually. And because a lot of people were mentioning that, I remember we talked about it with Pascal quite a bit at work, during the last catering wedding season, because he's from Corsica, which is like a really beautiful part of the world, and I'm from the Basque Country, so southwest of France. And I said, that's something we could do like together or independently, just like turning into like tour guide, and showing people around and keep that connection with Kiwis. And I thought, let's embrace it and go into that. That's something I really want to do, and kind of like return the favor that I got given here. Like everyone who I met here, like in New Zealand in general, made me feel right at home and showed me all the good places. Oh, you should come around the corner, we'll show you that nice little village. Oh, there's a cool little cafe there. Oh, let's go to that event and that festival. And there's always something happening and people leading me to the right places. I thought, I would love to do that, especially because that part of France where I live has got so much to offer, like in terms of like gastronomy and culture, traditions, history. And I know it so well because I grew up there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I would love to share that with Kiwis. And I caught up with a friend of mine who's a travel agent here in New Plymouth, Nicola McLaren at World Travelers, and mentioned to her the idea that I had. And she was, I think that's exactly what people are into now, especially with COVID, people not really wanted to travel into big groups, in big buses. And if someone gets sick, the whole bus gets sick for the rest of the holiday. And something a bit more personalized and really taking the time to embrace and immerse yourself in the culture. I thought, great, maybe I'm into something there. So that's how I decided, let's give that a go. I've got nothing to lose. And I'm just like, if it doesn't work, I've put my time on it, but like it's not a huge investment financially. So I thought, wow, and it ticks all the boxes. I can do something that I like, still related to food, connected with Kiwis, and sharing, which is what I really like to do, talking to people and sharing.
And giving back, like you say. I love what you said about that, just giving back what you received when you came to New Zealand.
Absolutely.
Just paying it back. And I think it's such a fantastic idea because so many Kiwis that we talk to will say, like if we say, we're going to Europe, they'd say, so where do you stay when you go? Like, and then where, how do you know where to go without being, because like you say, you don't want to be with all the mass tourists. You just don't, it's expensive, it's busy, you end up spending your whole holiday just thinking, I'll just get me out home so I can have a rest. So what does your tour, so are you the tour guide?
Yeah.
How does it work? Like, how would it work?
Well, pretty much came from, that realization that you just did, when you travel around the world, it's either you just sort everything out yourself, and which is amazing experiences, you kind of like discover a place and try to figure out how to do things and how to navigate yourself into a country that you don't know about and with a different language, which is a great way to travel. Or you hop into like a fully made tour where you just put your feet up and you just hop in the bus, they take you from A to B, you take a photo, just went back in the bus, straight to your hotel, but it's pretty high pace and you don't really have much freedom into enjoying things around and immersing yourself, because like it's the kind of tours where you'll go around the whole of France within a week. It's just like if you came to New Zealand and say, well, I have a whole week, let's go all around the North Island. Well, just, you will see a lot, but you won't leave much. And I thought, I want to be something right in the middle where I want people just to probably go into one region only and have a good feeling for that. Just really immerse themselves in the local culture and have a good feel for it, and then everything is tailor-made for them. And that's the feedback that I had as well from a lot of clients who've come already, saying they had an amazing time because everything was organized. They didn't have to think too much, which makes it so much easier for them. I look after everything, take great care of them, like, you know, from accommodation to transport, like I organize, and then I'm the guide on the day, you know, so I'm always with them and sharing time with them, explaining how places came to be, how they are today, you know, through history. And we share a lot during the day, and everything is custom made as well. So like I have a tour, like we'll go around the region, but I always ask them in the planning stage, oh, what are you into? Like, if, for example, people love golfing, you know, I'll organize the day golfing, for example. If they're really into more outdoors kind of things, we can organize some trekking. You know, where I live is part of the Camino track that goes to Santiago de Compostela. So we can have a couple of days walking on that
I'd love
Camino.
to do that, yeah.
It's great. Like, it's really good for your mind, you know, walking for days on and just
I would
like
love that.
just with yourself, with your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And I think that's more than the you know, religious part of the pilgrimage. Just like the introspection you can get is really great. And what I wanted to say is, like, a lot of people have mentioned, well, we did in a week what we wouldn't expect to do in a whole month if we had stayed in that place. You know, if people had done that travel on their own, they wouldn't have done half of what they're able to do.
You need a local to tell you where to go and what to do, don't you? That's
exactly
the thing.
right. And funny, when I just came for these holidays a few weeks ago, arrived in Auckland and had that connection from Auckland to New Plymouth, and was sitting next to a lady who had spent the weekend at Great Barrier Island doing like a trekking tour with a few friends. And of course, she was asking what I was doing in New Zealand and talking about life, you know, and had a great conversation. And I mentioned the business and trying to explain to her. At some point, I just like, oh, let's put it that way. Instead of like going for like a tour in a different country, you're actually going on holiday with a private guide.
Yes.
Because that's...
Sorry, I just got a fly flew right in my face.
And things.
I'll throw it on you.
No, I definitely don't miss those sand flies, you know. It's just like, that's one thing that's you don't have over there, and you're grateful for that.
That's so annoying. They just fly on my face. So yeah, go on. Sorry, yeah.
And and I was telling her, well, it's just like you go on a holiday with a private guide, because I organize everything, but everything is kind of like slow pace. You know, we're not going to rush from one place to the next. It's really, you know, go off the beaten track and just like go to a village and start with the market, have a coffee, you know, on the town square, and see life around and try to, you know, breathe in the local lifestyle and the pace of life, and see people, what they do, go to the market and walk around the village, and which the ones I choose have something specific about them. So it could be like a medieval castle or medieval enclosure, so you can walk around like those cobblestone streets, and then you go into, it is, well, even for me doing it, you know, I love it, you know, and going to those kind of like awesome restaurants off the beaten track that no one talks about and no one knows about, and you just have to stumble across. But because I've done that work already, you know, it saves a lot of time. And meet a lot of like local people. It could be like, you know, local vineyards or local, you know, cheese making places, but like it wouldn't be a big factory. It'd be just maybe a couple doing their own goat cheese in their farm, in their garage, and explain their whole life story around it. So everything is like really slow pace, and as well, you know, talking a lot. If I see people want to see more in a day, well, I can just move on to something else. If the pace of going is a bit too fast, which just never happen, you know, we can slow down even more. But it's really about taking the time.
Sounds divine.
Yeah, and stepping back, you know, slowing down is really important, I think, nowadays.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier, weren't we?
Exactly right. And I think everything is in fast pace, you know, and that's the thing about those organized tours most of the time, you know, like it's a great way to do it. And more often than not, you know, because they go with big numbers, it's within a good budget, and that's what people can afford, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know, I'm not judging anything. But really what I wanted to offer was something different, and take the time to breathe, you know. You're on holiday more than anything, you know. It's not because you're going on the other side of the world to visit a place that you have to rush to try and see a lot, because you don't really bring back a lot of memories with you. You'll bring back a lot of photos for sure, but you won't say, oh, well, I spent that time, I met that people, oh, and that afternoon we just stayed there, enjoyed the sunshine, I had a glass of bubbles or a glass of wine, and met local people who would be very happy to start a conversation, you know, it's, and that's what I want to bring, really.
So when can I sign up?
Just anytime, just anytime.
It's the bubbles that did it for me. It was that you sold it.
There's a lot of good selling points, you know, and you realize them when you're on site, you know, it's you just, wow, and sometimes it's not what you expect, you know, you have an experience and just, wow, this was it. And quite often with me, you know, it would be sitting down for lunch and have that nice restaurant, it's really quiet, amazing food, and then you can hear, you know, the sound of the wind in the leaves, and you're having that great conversation with people about life in general and the fact of slowing down. And even myself, you know, I realized, wow, we're sitting down having a proper lunch and breathe in, breathe out, and look, we're having such a great time, like connection, but like as a person, I'm having a good time, and I can feel people are doing the same as well, and that's really important in life.
It really is. So I've got some questions. I've got some questions about your, because this is just a fantastic idea. So let's pretend then that I'm in New Zealand and I want to visit your part of France. I don't know where to stay. I don't know what, I'm a writer, so I'm interested in maybe going to places where I'm going to be alone and be able to get some time on my own. And we'll say Brian's coming with me as well then. So we'll bring Brian.
Lucky him.
Yeah, lucky him. And he likes wine and food. So what do I just contact you and then all of us, and you book everything for me, or do I book my own flights?
Yeah, you would have to book your own flight.
Okay.
I look after you from the moment, pretty much I pick you up from the airport or the train station until the moment I drop you off, and you carry on with your travels.
Do I book my own accommodation?
I can sort that out for you, and it's part of the idea as well, just to make it easier. And depending on where we're going to go, because like I've got a few different tours, and there's a lot of things as well that I don't advertise, but I can do because everything is tailor-made. Like if you came to me and say, well, I'm interested in coming to France, and as you say, like I'm a writer, I want to go to a special point of interest because maybe I want to write a novel about the special place. You know, I heard a story, and someone came last year actually, and she was writing a story about the Second World War, and she was going to Le Quesnoy, France, that village that helped a lot of New Zealand fighters during the war. And that could happen, you know, for your book, for example, or anything. And I can say, okay, I'll organize something around that. I can find you a great location. There's a lot of good places of interest around it. I always try to limit the amount of driving to about an hour each direction. Yeah. Or we can do an itinerary, but if we do that, it will be at least 2 to 3 nights in each place, same to avoid the rushing and going from one place to the next. And I look after accommodation that's very suitable to the place.
Do we give you like a budget, or do you just, how does that work?
It can work either way, either around a budget, or I think the best is just, I can give you something, a whole tour with accommodation, what we can do, everything that is included, give you a price on that. And then we can just start going around this. You know, if, for example, you think it's too much, we can just like work around it. And if you think it's, well, okay, but I would like to have like a higher standard accommodation, we can work that way as well. And so everything is just like,
it's like negotiable, you work together.
I don't really like the word negotiable in that way, because I'm not really doing that into trying the best money I can. It's really to fit within your budget and the experience that I want to give you and I can provide. So, and sometimes, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, you need to think about a bigger budget, but sometimes by trying to cut down the cost too much, you miss out on a lot. And I know that my service comes with a cost somehow, but it comes with everything that you're going to be able to experience that you probably wouldn't experience on your own. And it's just like everything in life, you know, you can build your own house, but if you get someone to build it, it will probably be a good quality and probably be done faster. And it relates to a lot of things in life. Some things are worth spending for.
They really are. And you know what? I was thinking as you were talking then, I was thinking I'm a bad example, because I'm a tight ass who just tries to save money everywhere by sleeping on people's couches and going house sitting and all the rest of it. But I can totally see how brilliant this would be. I've got a friend, her name is Talitha, and she would just be, you would be perfect for her. I know you would. She's always asking me, like, where would I go? Where can I stay? And I just think to have someone there, like in the actual country, to take you around and show you, it sounds like it takes so much of your time though. Do you like eat dinner with them? And
so I spend a lot of time with them throughout the week, where it can be anything from like 5 days to 2 weeks. So it can be, everything is custom made, but I'd say like the tours that I advertise, because I have to advertise something to have a starting point, would be like a 7-day tour. It's a lot of time together, and I really want people just to also have their own experiences. So I try to leave them free time for dinner. Yeah. We can talk about even like organizing a day off halfway throughout the tour, so they can just like do their own shopping. They can just souvenirs. They can just wander around town. If you're in Biarritz, for example, in the Basque Country, it's a lovely place to stay for a day and just like wander around, go to the beach, and just like, and actually feels like you're on holiday. And you're not rushed into doing the next thing. So yeah,
it sounds perfect. It sounds absolutely perfect. It's I can't, and I bet it's a lovely job as well. I bet it's a lovely thing to do.
I really love it, and you were taking back, saying like it must take a lot of my time, but it does, because I want to provide the best, and everything is just like custom made, and I haven't done the same thing for all clients and all groups that I had so far. There's always try to tweak a few things, and depending on the time of the year as well, there'll be different events, there'll be different things happening, so I try to fit that in as well, so people can have like really the tradition and the authenticity, and go to some like different kind of like local traditional festivals that would happen at that time of the year when they come over. And but yeah, it's kind of like what I love, giving back and make sure that people get the best of it, and I get, not financially, but I get in return what I give and the time that I put in. Yeah. So let's say, for example, I charge for my time on the road, but I receive back the feedback from the input and the time I put into it, and that's really important for me. And that's the beauty of like doing it on my own, and not as a big business with like having people working for me or different guys that are touring. And I'm the master of my own time, and I value that.
Yeah, exactly. And knowing you as well, watching what you've done with your catering business and your cafe, everything was, you don't do things by half. So everything was proper and top class.
I used to put my heart on the plate. I used to put my heart in the coffee, and more than the coffee. And that's why I used to tell a lot of my staff, when they were working for me, just, you've got no idea how much impact you can have into someone's life. Yeah. For some people, they come for coffee in the morning. You're the first human interaction they had. They probably woke up, the rest of the family is sleeping. They come and grab the coffee on the way to work. You're the first face they will see. And if you start, with a big smile, welcoming them, well, probably made their day. Yes. And it's not all about the coffee and the quality of like, even the food you're serving, like not neglecting the quality, of course, but like the service and what you put around that is what makes the big difference in the end.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah. Oh, so does it
so
feel...
when are you coming?
Yeah, I know.
I told you, just come and try it out, throughout your travel around Europe. I'll be more than happy to look after you, just to make you feel welcome, and for you to discover a different place of France.
Thank you. Well, I was just talking, me and Brian went down the cafe this morning, and we were talking to Danielle and Kevin, and I know they used your service.
Well, they was the first one actually to come with me.
And I was asking her about it, and I said, what was it like? She said, it was bliss. She said, it was so wonderful. He picked us up. She said, the best part was driving around and you pointing bits out to them and telling them the history of it. So she said, because you would never know that stuff. And she said, and going to the restaurants, little restaurants that you, again, because otherwise you just look on TripAdvisor, don't you?
And you go to places where everyone goes.
Exactly. Yeah. And you want to find those little backstreet. It's your dream, isn't it, when you go away, to be able to find those places?
And one of the major examples for that would be going to San Sebastian, which is world famous for its tapas. And it's highly touristic. But it's probably one of the tourist places where I would bring people to. Right. Just doing it differently, same again. But like, some places are on the touristic tracks for a good reason as well. Yeah. And I won't say you have to go there, but like you can go to San Sebastian and just like discover the beauty of it. And it's got a lot of great things. But I know a lot of like those tapas restaurants that have their own history, like being the first one that was open, or who introduced like different special tapas that now are really renowned. And a lot of bits and pieces like that, but people, all the travelers who go over there, they would go on TripAdvisor or they would go on Google and find the one that's got the best ratings, and they go there, and because that attracts more people with good ratings, more people give good ratings and things, but they're not necessarily the best places to go to.
No. Absolutely not.
And I know those good places, so
Yeah.
I'll take you there. And probably if you were looking at the rankings, maybe you'd have like 5 or 6 reviews because hardly anyone goes there, but they are the
Yeah.
place of interest.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. So when you, sorry, I'm probably keeping you, but I'm just, yeah.
I'm in my happy place again.
It's interesting. It's so interesting. So when you get these Kiwis coming over, do you ever feel like, oh, I just want to go back to New Zealand with you? Is it like pulling you back to New Zealand, or?
No, it actually feeds me with my fix of New Zealand.
Does it?
Until the next group of clients, until I come back here. And no, it's that feel-good connection, and I know that New Zealand's never going to be too far away. That's why I wanted to come back every year as well. First to visit my friends, family, get my fix of surfing, get my fix of New Zealand for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And just make me realize it's only a couple of flights away.
Yeah.
What my parents weren't able to do anymore because they were quite old, I can do that, and I mean, it's fine. And
because you're back here now for a month, aren't you?
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we're getting close to the end of it now. But I had such an amazing time, As I say, like I'm loving everything I do in France. Sometimes it's got challenges, and same again, realizing that I don't quite fit in over there.
Yeah.
And now I don't see the world through red glasses either, as we were talking about before. So sometimes are a bit hard, especially like being self-employed and working from home quite a lot, and not necessarily because it's still early stages, getting too much interaction with other people around, and it takes time to create your own network.
Of course, yeah.
So some moments are a bit harder, but I think like, New Zealand is just right there around the corner, and I come back here and just, it's good. So I'm going back to France then and just have a lot of positivity, a lot of energy, and I use that trip as well for the business to try and grow it too.
Yeah.
And it's it's excellent.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
good.
getting the best of both worlds, for now.
Do you know what? I feel the need to say this to you because we deal with a lot of people who move to New Zealand. They leave their country and they move to New Zealand. And we always say this to them is that first 2 years that you're here in New Zealand, it's almost like you're grieving your old life. You've left that life, you've left
Exactly
your
right.
friends, you've left the way it was. And so I can imagine it's the same for you going back to France, even though it's your home country. You've been here for 15 years. You built your community, your network, your life as a couple and a small family.
Yeah.
It's to leave that and go back home. People just think, oh, it was easy. You're just going back to where you're from. No problem. But you don't slot back in.
No, life's changed over there,
Yeah.
and we've changed as people as well.
You
and
have.
like even though we came back to a region where I was from, so I know people around. Like I'm only 20 minutes drive away from where my mum lives. So, and it's a really, really beautiful corner of France. Like probably if it was to go anywhere else in France, we wouldn't have gone back. Like we knew where we were going to. So that made things a lot easier. But yeah, you're starting your life from scratch
You
again.
are.
We're very privileged, as I said, we're starting our life from scratch again. But of course, first we were able to buy our house and be mortgage free. And that's a massive step. I know a lot of people from my age are not in that situation. So I definitely understand that. And I can't complain about anything, and having difficult times sometimes. I realize that, we're very privileged and we're making things happen, but definitely takes a while.
Yeah, it does.
It probably, as you say, like 2 to 5 years here to really start getting where we wanted to be and get the ball rolling. So I don't think it's going to take the same, and there's nothing wrong with that,
No, you've just got to be patient with yourself.
Yeah, and see the good reason of the places you go to. Like if you grieve too much and always keep looking back, you never move forward. And that's also why we wanted to, when we took the decision of leaving, say, well, let's not hold on to our house here, because then we always have something pulling us back behind. So just like cut everything, go this way fully. If it doesn't work out, that's all right. You can just like come back again, or even go somewhere else. If someone had told me 15 years ago, oh, are you going to live in New Zealand? I said, who knows? I would have laughed. And then if like 3-4 years ago, someone was told me, oh, are you ever going to go back to France? No, I don't think so. And things happen, and you have to go with your thoughts and what you feel like.
Yes.
You can't really go and stay halfway, otherwise you never progress.
I love that. That's so true. It is. And I love your spirit, the way you say, I really do. Just that we'll just go there and we'll make it work, and then we can always change.
And if it doesn't, like as long as you're healthy, it's the most important.
Really
even
is.
if like things didn't happen, and we lost our house for some reason, or financially everything is dramatic and we have to start from scratch again, like right from the start. I mean, we're still young, and even if we're not, like as long as we're healthy and we're in a happy place, it's the most important. You create a good network of people around you, and that's what really matters. That's our way of living anyway.
Yes, and it's obviously working. So before we sign off, if we've got French people watching this, because we do get a lot of people from Europe, but let's concentrate on French people watching this, and they're thinking, I'd love to move to New Zealand, but I don't know, because I don't, what will they accept me, my language? What advice would you give to French people who are watching this, wanting to move to New
they're
Zealand?
just thinking about it, just make it happen. You never ever regret it. It's only good things that are going to happen to you, even if for some reason you couldn't stay here, because especially younger people who can have a working holiday visa and come here for a year and kind of like try it out or travel around, and they can't get a work visa behind that. Well, at least that's all right. You had one year to experience it, and maybe some opportunities will come and you'll be able to stay. If it's people who decided to move over here because they can get a job and then get a work visa that way, it's worth taking the risk. You will come back, if it didn't work, you'll come back as a greater person and improve, and with an amazing experience. And to be honest, I don't really see things not going your way when you come here. It's only the limits that you can put yourself. There are some places in the world that you can understand, like I don't know how people can live, countries being at war or extreme poverty and like dictatorships, and when they don't have the choice and any other options. And especially for people living in France and being able to come here, well, they're in a position where they can make a decision, and it can only be for the better, really.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's
Thank
all
you.
right.
It's
Thank you.
straight out of the horse's mouth. See, if you're French and you're listening to this is it. Oh, Francois, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love your story. I love the whole giving back to New Zealand and that connection that you've kept with New Zealand. It's absolutely beautiful. And if you are watching this and you are wanting to go to France, then this is your guy. This is your guy.
That's right,
You're offering a fantastic service. And like
thanks.
I say, I love that I keep seeing you back in the village and you coming back every year. And
that's really important.
it really is. So good luck with everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
What's your business called? What's the name of your business?
Very easy. It's called Kiwis in France.
Kiwis in France.
Very easy to find out.
Oh, did you see what? Kiwis in France.
Of course. Well, you have to say it that way, and you have to start your email with a bonjour when you inquire about things. No. And well, you can actually email me, at bonjour@kiwisinfrance.com. So very easy. I try to make it easy for people to get in touch. And
Kiwis in France. I love that. And I'll put all the links in the description below. You can reach out to Francois. Kiwis in France, book your next trip through him, and then that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me some time together. I love having a chat with you. That was one of the reasons of coming back here, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story, and hopefully that can inspire a lot of people.
Yes,
I think that's more the meaning behind all this. It's just to tell people, hey, there's a lot of good things in life. Just slow down, enjoy. There's a lot of worries, but as long as you're healthy and you want to do things, just do it, make it happen. If something you don't want to do, and well, why should you be doing it? So thank you so much. Thank you very much for everything. Merci beaucoup. Merci, Liz. Love you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well done. That was great.
Thanks for everything.
No, thank you. That was really wonderful. Really wonderful.
Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast this week. We have loved having you here with us.
If you love this week's show, please share this with your friends. Send it to anybody you know that wants to think about moving to New Zealand, and get on over here yourself.
And tell them how brilliant it is as well. And also, if you haven't signed up for our free 5-day video guide showing you what life is really like in New Zealand, then go over to the website and sign up. You are missing out. This is brilliant. Go over to www.nzahead/free, and we will send you 5 days worth of videos about what life is like in New Zealand. You are going to love it. So one more time, that website that you need to sign up for the free 5-day guide is www.nzahead/free.
So we're going to see you next week. Until then, have a great week and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye again. Bye.
Bye.